doing their own non-profit organizations, helping people improve their lives, and in doing so also improve our own lives. We know that earlier I mentioned that health is wealth. So our number one really trust is to take care of our health, especially that we have a registered nurse here.
We have a doctor too, and we have I'm a media.
Yeah, but you know what? Media is very important in society. That's why the Beautiful Heart Show is an alternate media to push for what is true, good, and beautiful.
Yeah.
We always hear of news that would just touch on crimes, the bad stories. This is an alternative television program.
This is a good idea for me to write on the newspaper that people should be aware of the healthy living.
Yeah.
Because every time, but the young generation now is very conscious about that.
Yeah. But another than that is because I think for KMVT15, they are excited to really showcase what we're supposed to present, because this will really bring to the community that the Filipino culture is a very rich culture. And the younger generations, like my own children, they don't even go back to the Philippines frequently. So by through this show, somehow we are able to impart, like the way we are doing now, this healthy food of cooking our own Filipino leaves, vegetables.
The way we cook before in our own
Traditional way. Yeah.
We can show to the young generation how we lived before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think, as I've said, you cannot underestimate, anybody's culture. Like, I know, of course, German culture is also very rich. And when we blend all the different cultures, it becomes a very beautiful society. It makes a blending of different arts and culture. That's a beautiful thing to present in this community, especially in San Francisco, where we have multicultural, multi-ethnic membership.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Welcome to the Day Workers Center of Mountain View, founded in 1996. Here we connect employers with workers. We take pride in our excellent service and reliable workers, and it shows. Call or drop in anytime from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Just tell us the job and we'll find you a worker. Workers can help you move, do yard work, clean, and more. We choose a worker that has the right skills for the task. Then, we discuss a few job requirements and payment. Less than 5 minutes later, you and the worker are on your way. Easy, secure, reliable. The Day Worker Center of Mountain View. Reliable workers, ready to serve.
I am Nicholas from Oak School, Den 105.
and welcome to the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. I'm Vilma, and we've got you.
Jim Connor here. I'm part of the crew, a producer at KMVT, Game Changers Silicon Valley, as well as being on the board and the treasurer of KMVT.
That sounds awesome. Yes, we do shows here as well. But you know what? This is so beautiful being here at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. We've got amazing, loads and loads of booths here. We have so many things happening. Of course, the art. We've got that right in front of us. We have loads of people walking around enjoying the scenery, enjoying what the festival has to offer. There's live band. Can you hear them singing? Beautiful.
Right.
And also, they've got jewelry that have. What did you see so far?
Well, one of the things I very much enjoy about this type of art and wine festival is the diversity of food, bands, crafts, artwork, clothes, fashions, all the cool stuff. It's a great place to walk around and sort of see the things that you might be interested in, frankly, purchasing for either your collection or something a little more avant-garde. I bought shirts, I like glass blowing objects, I bought artwork here. I always have some kind of meal. It's really a fun day for me to be down here. Every year I try to come.
I know, totally. I mean, it's just a relaxing day for the family. And then they can also check us out here, our booth. You know, they can sign up. We've got loads of activities, you know, for KMVT. They could do producer programming and et cetera, et cetera. That's what I love about being a part of this KMVT station, plus being a part of the festival.
And for those rock and rollers out there, there's some pretty good bands here. I've seen some band playoffs that were really remarkable. Today's Sunday, but there was a big band, there's a band going on right behind us at this time. And pretty good music, a diversity of music. You'll see musical instruments here also. Just a great day to come down here. Weather's cooler than yesterday or the week, so I think it's a perfect day.
Absolutely, totally perfect day. Like the sun is just perfect. It's not way too hot. Okay, and you know, actually what I'm going to be checking out in a little while, I think I saw some rides over there, maybe a bit of zip lining or something. I should try that.
There's some rides. Well, we've got a full day of interviews too. We've got a number of people who are active in the community in various functions, from the police through the various agencies here and public companies that make a public contribution. So stay tuned with us. We're going to have a great time, and if you can, come on down and visit us. We're at the corner of Church and Castro.
That's right. There's still a lot of time. They can come over, enjoy our Art and Wine Festival right here in Mountain View. And there's loads and loads of parking. So we're going to take it back to Bobby now in the streets.
Hi, I'm Bobby. We're out here at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. We're here with Sabrina, Leonard, and Rose. They're with Mountain View Key Club and Kiwanis. So, hi, Sabrina. Tell us a little bit about what Key Club does.
Key Club is a Mountain View volunteer service club. Our motto is carry our way in life. We do volunteer service events. We help out the community. It's really fun because we help with the PTP program and help help fundraise PTP, which helps mothers in third world countries and help them get vaccines so that the child won't be too weak when they're born. And yeah.
Well, great. And there's a relationship between Key Club and Kiwanis. So any of you want to talk about that? How you guys help Kiwanis? Sabrina?
Oh, okay, so Kiwanis are the adult Key Clubbers. They are the adult volunteer service, and they help sponsor us Key Clubbers. They help us with events. They take us to certain events, and then they're like a great help. And then, yeah, they're really awesome and help us a lot.
And then, Leonard, what are you guys doing specifically today? It looks like you're dressed up like food or a penguin, and also you're holding food and penguins. So tell us about what you're specifically doing today to help Key Club.
So we're selling Polish sausages and then chicken and portobello mushroom sausages. And we're also selling corn, which is why I'm dressed as a corn, to help support Key Club. And then half of the money is going to Key Club. And then the rest is going to another fundraiser.
What's that other fundraiser?
Is it? I'm not quite sure. I think it's PTP.
Oh, PTP, great. So, and then we got Polish sausage, you got nacho cheese, so can people come and get as much nacho cheese as they want as well?
Sure, once you get your sausage, you get some free beer cheese. This is cheese and beer together. It's really yummy. It's satisfying.
And then is this a normal thing that you guys all dress up like food?
Yeah, we always do this, like even in school when we have like signing ups, then we dress as a penguin because like our club represents like penguins, so that's why, yeah.
So there's not like, if I came up and I said I can get a Polish sausage or corn or like a penguin kebab, you don't have no penguin?
Have that. That'd be really awesome. But the Penguins is our mascot of Mountain View Key Club. It's our division mascot, so that's why we have this to represent Key Club. And yeah, this is what we're selling, just to like show people what we're doing. Just give me samples, have people like enjoy our food, and yeah.
Well, thanks so much for meeting with us. Take care and best of luck to you. And let's go see what else is happening at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival.
There it is. So your name is?
I'm Kirk Ellison.
Yes, and you have quite beautiful work here.
Well, thank you.
When did you first start doing this?
Well, I've been doing this type of work since about 1995. That's when I first started doing the shows and producing the work. And I work in a couple different mediums, photography and painting. But most of the inspiration is from flowers and plants, so organic inspiration. Here you'll see some pieces that have been done up photographically. This is a piece that's done in the studio with special lighting, and it's the way I use the light to really accentuate the textures and the colors, sort of like painting and sculpting with light.
I see.
To create this illusion of depth and dimension. And when you look at the pieces, a lot of people wonder if there's some sort of Photoshop involved or some sort of post-production manipulation.
Right.
But this is what they call old school photography. It's just all lights, camera, and film, all done analog. And it's 4x5 capture on 4x5 transparency film, and then printed on either Cibachrome, like this, or on canvas. And
what it was, Cibachrome?
Cibachrome. It's a very unique printing material. It's actually got a metallic base to it.
I see.
And that's
quite beautiful.
It is. It is. It's got this metallic sheen to it that reflects the light. So when light hits it, it comes back through the color. It's almost like its own built-in light source.
I see.
And then these pieces have all been bonded to aluminum plate. It's a very high-end, contemporary type of presentation.
Right. So you do the photographs, but you also do the painting. What's the medium for the painting?
This is oil. This is just straight oil on canvas, and yeah, same inspiration as the photographic work. But here I'm just working in a different medium, and the creative process is similar in that it's all in the study of the subject and how light affects the subject, and then trying to establish that through the paint.
I see.
Yeah, sculpting through the paint, whereas with the photography I'm sculpting with the light.
Ah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So have you been at these fairs quite often? Or?
I have. I've done Mountain View for quite a few years, probably at least 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
Not consecutive, but over, I'd say, the last 20.
Yeah,
So-
well, since I live in Mountain View, I think I must have seen your work here because it's kind of looking familiar to me.
Oh, good.
So it's quite beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
I'm
thank
glad you like it.
This was very nice to see. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
You bet.
All right.
Well, hi. We're back again here at the Mountain View Arts and Wine Festival on Sunday, September 13th. My co-host here, Vilma Gardner, and myself, Jim Conner, and I'm with Paul Saidi, who's with Leadership Mountain View. This is, as I understand it, well, I'll let you explain it, what Leadership Mountain View is.
Yeah, so Leadership Mountain View is a 9-month leadership program that runs out of the Chamber of Commerce. We're a 501(c)(3) and
nonprofit.
Nonprofit, yeah. And we've been training leaders and developing leaders in Mountain View for 27 years. It's a really it's a program that has created and led to numerous mayors in Mountain View, as well as fire department chiefs, police chiefs, teachers, superintendents. We're really part of this community, and I'm the new director. I'm just coming on this year. I'm replacing Alicia Crank, who was an amazing director for the last 5 years. And I come from the University of Maryland. I'm a PhD candidate working on finishing my dissertation and kind of lending my hand here in the community and trying to do what I can to help develop leaders.
Great, Paul. That's a great story, and congratulations with the new position here. We had a little chat before we started the show here, and one of the insightful things you told me is that everybody can benefit from a leadership program. You can be a clerk at a grocery store. You can be at any role, and this program works for people.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really important, right? When we think of leaders, sometimes we think, oh, leaders are born, or, people just have leadership skills. But something that I really embrace about Leadership Mountain View is that we take applicants and leaders from all over the community. People who are stay-at-home moms, people who are executives at Google, and everything in between. And something that I really want to bring to the program and emphasize and continue that's been going on for 27 years is understanding that anybody can be a leader and everybody can develop their leadership skills. And so that's what we're here to do.
And so, Paul, you do have an incoming class coming up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yes. So we have a new incoming class. They're going to start on September 25th. Our first program day is at Microsoft, and they'll be hosting us for our first program day. And our class it runs the gambit, right? We have an assistant city district attorney in the class. We have a pastor. We have someone who's worked for the school district for 32 years. So, when you bring all those different people to the table at the same time to talk about a topic or to, have a tough discussion about diversity or some kind of issue in the community, you never know what you're going to get, and that's what's amazing about the program, and that's why we need to keep having diverse applicants and people from all over the community be part of it.
As the program director, have you had any insights yourself out of this class, watching people either change their mind, change their perspective, change their opinions, change their values?
I think so. What's great about our program is that we have a dedicated group of alumni of about 400 people who constantly stay connected to the program. It's one of the staples of our program. So once they graduate, they don't go away, and we like that. And from working with them over the summer to help produce the programming for this year, these people are people who have maybe graduated 15 years ago and still come and help on program days and still talk about and think about this program as a touchstone in their life and something that they'll never forget. And I'm just really excited to be part of that and to help, cultivate that in a new class.
So how can they actually volunteer, to be a part of this Leadership Mountain View?
So for Leadership Mountain View, this year's class is full, of course, right? We're in demand.
How many?
So we take 35 students a year, and we don't take more just so that we can keep the quality of programming as high as we do. But so this year we're full, but people can always, like at this event, we have a ton of volunteers coming out to help sell water and soda for Leadership Mountain View. So they can always help do that. And then they have to keep their eye out. We're going to be posting in all the local papers and in all the local community organizations starting after the new year. And we'll be recruiting a class for next year. And so hopefully we always will have another great group.
Do you have a standing room only situation ever, or you just close the doors at 35 and do people drop out? I mean, does the slot open up?
So people who start, we have a vetting process, right? And so what we do is we actually have alumni from the program conduct the interviews of this incoming class. And so people who start always finish.
I see. And it's a no-cost part of the Chamber of Commerce, is that correct?
It's what?
Is it no-cost part of the...
No, it does cost.
Oh, there is cost. Well, we need to get that out.
It's $1,850, but it's worth every penny. And I will say, compared to other local leadership programs that can run $4,000 or $5,000, we're in pretty good shape. And there's a lot of sponsorships. There's a lot of tuition breaks that we can give because of our great corporate sponsors like Google and LinkedIn and Microsoft.
9 months, that's not bad. $1,850. We can all probably
live
with
well worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to be thanking Paul again, and another invite to join the Leadership Mountain View for sure. You have a waiting list already for the coming next year.
What's your website?
Website is leadershipmountainview.com. Yes.
Or .org?
Yeah, .org.
.org. Good. Paul, delightful to see you and meet you. I wish you every success. Thank you
and
very much.
We're back to Claudia.
Claudia Cruz here again at the Art and Wine Festival, the 44th annual. And this is fantastic. Look at this. We have 8 Vince Lombardi trophies, 5 from the 49ers, 3 from the Raiders, to remind people how great the Bay Area is. Not only do we have a Golden Gate Bridge, but we have Golden Award-winning championship football teams. Between the 49ers and the Raiders, the Bay Area has the most wins of any region. I'm from New York, so that makes me feel a little bit sad, but I'm glad to live very close to some of the best teams in the country. So look at this. This is fantastic. This truck is called Champions Row. It is one of 2 trucks that is going around the Bay Area Just to remind, again, people in the region how wonderful it is to live here and to support the Super Bowl committee. You know, it's going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming in, but it's all worth it because we have 2 championship winning teams. The last time the Super Bowl was hosted in the Bay Area was 1985, Super Bowl 19. It's Joe Montana taking on Dan Marino's Miami Dolphins. Guess who won? We did, 38-19. So this is why this is important. We can bring it back. Hopefully it's the 49ers, but if it's not the 49ers or if not Oakland, it's still a wonderful time to be here in the Bay Area taking this all in. I've never been to a Super Bowl game, but I will make sure that I get at least close enough to the tailgating to enjoy all the festivities. So they're expecting me, usually at the Art and Wine Festival, they have 150 to 200,000 people to come in every day. I'm not sure how many will be able to have the opportunity to walk through this exhibit, but if they do, they will definitely have a lot to look at. At the end of this, so we have the 5 here from the 49ers. And if you pan up to the left, you see the National Football League Hall of Fame inductees from the 49ers. Not a bad set of company to be a part of. And we can't forget the Raiders. The Raiders haven't always been in Oakland. They've moved around. They've been in LA, been in St. Louis, but they're here now, and we definitely enjoy everything, all the fun, the grit that is the crazy fans that are super fun. And the 3 championship trophies. Again, some teams don't have any. The Raiders have 3. And with the Niners 5, that's 8. That's the most of any area in the country. So hopefully you support the Super Bowl committee, Super Bowl 50 committee, as they tour the Bay Area. And the next stop will be Fremont next Friday, September 19th. And then Saturday and Sunday, they're going to be in Santa Clara, home of Super Bowl 50.
Okay. So just start off by telling us your name.
Hi, I'm Pat Toss-Smith, and I'm a wildlife photographer for the last 20 years, and I just finished a book about a year and a half ago, and it won USA Best Book Award, so I'm excited about that.
That's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
So you've been doing wildlife photography for how many years?
I actually have been doing it about 20 years. I started in the early 90s, and so what you're seeing here is 20 years of my work. Yeah.
So where do you normally take these photos? Because a lot of them just seem too unique to be just in one place.
I actually travel to national parks, state parks, and one of my favorite places is Alaska. I go to Katmai National Park here, where you see all the bears, and I love to go to Yellowstone National Park. That's another place that's pretty easy to find wildlife, which is my biggest issue. It's mostly about finding the wildlife. That's the hardest part. And actually that image there is what started me on this whole career, the moose in the mist. And I actually took that in the early 90s. And after I got that shot back, I decided I was going to make a career doing this, and have spent the last 20 years making that work for me.
That's amazing. And just dropped a pen. Sorry. And you just wrote a book recently. Did it come? It came out.
It came out at the end of 2013, and last year in November it won USA Best Book Award for Animal Pets Narrative Nonfiction. And it's actually my stories. There's 9 different hard-to-find wildlife, like moose, mountain lions, wolves, and each individual chapter is my stories of how I got the images, what I went through, what the animal was doing when I got their shot, and then afterwards in each chapter I have, the images that I took that in each of the different areas. You can kind of see here. I don't know if you can catch it, but it's all different, the bears, what was going on, what they were doing. And then at the end, I just basically talk a little bit about how I've done it and what went on in each of the episodes.
Well, thank you very much. These are definitely some of the most stunning photographs that we have here at the festival. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
just thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, we're back with our next guest at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. Oscar Garcia here, who is the president of the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, also a producer at KMVT. And Oscar, I just want to compliment you on the coordination, the way this is laid out, and this whole arts and wine festival. How do you do this? What's it take to get this off the ground?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you to KMVT for televising this live, and for just a wonderful job that they do at the festival and throughout the year. But you're right, it takes a lot of people to put this festival together. We have at the Chamber a small staff of 7, but we utilize close to 500 volunteers, and we actually start planning for the festival in January. And sometime around June timeframe, we actually hire a volunteer coordinator whose sole responsibility is to recruit volunteers for the festival.
Okay. And the logistics, do you manage the logistics also of getting everybody here on time?
Well, I am very fortunate. I have an amazing staff. Actually, Katrina, who's our program events manager, and this year we also have Julie, who also has been helping us, and they're the ones really that put all this together, the coordination.
Yeah, so I was here last year with you, and this year, it's amazing. What's new this year at the festival?
Oh my gosh, so what do we change this year? Well, a fruit company said earlier this week, we changed everything, okay? So one of the things that's actually right behind you is the Super Bowl 50 host committee. As we know, the Super Bowl is going to be held here in Santa Clara. And so we're very fortunate that the 8 Bay Area Super Bowl trophies are being toured throughout the Bay Area. And this is the very first festival stop of about a dozen or so events leading up to the Super Bowl that the trophies are here.
Yeah, that's wonderful, because I saw it, just looking at it. It's awesome. So it's going to go. And then what else? What's your favorite part of the festival? I know you're going to say you love everything.
Honestly, there's actually 2 things that I really love about the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival, and something that we always work very hard to do. Number one, we make it a family event. In fact, right in front of us is the Kids Park, and that has grown to where we invite a lot of the school performers and other to come, and what ends up happening is the family, extended family, aunts and uncles, grandparents come and they perform for free, and so it just draws more people to the festival. The other thing too is we've changed the music lineup. Sunday for the last 3 years now is Salsa Sunday, and here in Mountain View and throughout the Bay Area we have a very diverse community, and so salsa music it crosses all ethnic groups, ages, and so that's also another favorite of mine.
So I'm going to ask you, I like music, and I've noticed that generally speaking in the evenings, the bands really start to come out and play a lot. Do you have a special set of hours, or do you set that up in some unique way?
So what we do is that the bands start playing from 11 a.m. and they go up until 5:45, and obviously the latter afternoon part of the day is when we get more people, and so we tend to bring the bands that draw more of a crowd later at the end of the day.
How many different types of music do you recall having here?
So we have a total of 6 different bands, and that is only in the music stage. Behind us, we can hear some music playing. We have other artists that are performing throughout the street.
I think I have a question for you. Since this is going to be your last year, right, as a president?
It is, yes, it is going to be my last year.
What are you going to miss about it?
Well, so I've been with the Chamber now for 6.5 years, and this is my last festival as the Chamber executive, but I live here in Mountain View, and I've been coming to the festival for many years, and I'll continue to come and support and volunteer. And, the biggest thing that I'm going to miss is actually my staff, because they're the ones that really make me look good, and like I've been saying before, they're the ones that really put the work and turn this into an amazing festival.
I know.
So what are you going to do next then?
Well, first off, I'm going to take the month of October off, and then after that, I am going to work really hard to continue acting like a kid.
Yeah, I heard this organization's opening up a spot in January for organizing this festival. Maybe you want to be a part of that going forward.
That's true. I know how to do it, right?
It's a volunteer job. So.
He's already first in line to volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been delightful. Are you going to continue doing shows at KMVT?
Yes. Yeah, awesome. Definitely. I have the show Silicon Valley Business, and with Jim and Dave and the rest of the crew there. They're amazing. So I will continue to do that.
Well, that's going to be interesting because some of the new equipment is here, and it's a whole new setup.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
We're all looking forward to that one.
Yes, looking forward to putting it to good use.
And when is your show on television? television?
We videotape the last Monday of every month.
Great. Okay. Well, Oscar, delightful to see you.
All right, and we are back to Christina in the streets.
Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, really.
The label out? Can you do that?
What?
Product placement?
Yes.
When I point at you, when Carl points at you, you go.
Hi, I'm Christina, and we're here live at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. We're actually on the corner of California and Castro, so come down and visit. We are at the sangria booth and the water and juice booth. This is Brian. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
And Brian is actually part of Leadership Mountain View this year. The two booths that we're at, they sponsor Leadership Mountain View, a great cause for Mountain View. So this is Brian. Brian, why did you decide to join Leadership this year?
I think it was exciting to think about finding out what's happening in the city and learning how to get more involved. So that seemed like a good way to do it, right?
Is there any particular company or place that you're looking forward to going to visit this year?
I heard the police department and the fire department are the coolest thing.
Yes, those are two very, very fun times. And this is Sadia. And Sadia is actually part of the LMV Council. She did actually take Leadership Mountain View, and she loved it so much, she actually got on board to do greater and better things for LMV. Come over here, Sadia.
Hi.
And tell us just real quick why you decided to get involved more with the board and do more after you were done with your class.
Absolutely. So I was class of 2011, which I feel is the best class, but I'm biased. And, you know, honestly, the program is amazing. And if anyone has an opportunity to go through the program, you really get to know the city and all of the programs and all the different businesses, and the people that are involved are just really passionate about Mountain View. So that's why I encourage and I volunteer and I'm part of LMV Council. Yeah.
Thank you. So, on that note, 2014 was my class, best class ever. And if you're interested in signing up for LMV, I know the class is full this year, but it's through the Mountain View Chamber of Commerce, and it is a great organization and a great time. 10 months worth of wonderful time. Thank you.
Well, hi, my name's Tom McNeil, and your name is?
Jennifer Aldridge.
And how long have you've been doing this stonework? For how long?
We've been actually doing this about 3 years, and originally started with embroidery, silk screening on T-shirts and that sort of thing, and then transferred it onto our coasters.
Ah, it looks kind of nice. And where do you actually get the stones from?
So we have two kinds of stones. The travertine stone comes from Italy, and then the marble is from Turkey. And then our artwork is either original designs, or we have public, because some of them are, the more famous ones are public domain. So then we just put them on there as well. But like the masks here, the pentacles, and then our science series, those are all our original artwork.
Right. And how do they actually get applied to the stone?
So we have a proprietary multi-step process. But what it does is that it gives it in layers rather than just painting it on a stone. It actually goes through in layers, and then it takes like the first 5 or 6 layers of the stone, and then we put a special treatment on it so that if you put your glass on it, it doesn't plane off, and when it starts to get condensation. And then it also will then resist fading in the sunlight, so we can have it out in the on a sunny day. And we'll be able to keep the design just as it is.
It looks quite nice. And
Thank you very much.
Coming to these festivals very often?
Yeah, we've really started full-time into the festivals in the last year and a half. We've been working with wineries, though, in their gift shops, and we'll put their wine labels on corporate logos, that sort of thing, and then they can sell them in their own gift shops. And then we've also been doing them as wedding favors. This has actually become surprisingly popular as well.
Wow. Yeah, I can see why. They look quite nice, and they're so original.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can see in a wedding to have a particular.
And we're one of only 2 companies in the state that do these onto travertine tiles. So I believe that the other one only does corporate sort of things. They don't come out to these wine and art festivals, but.
Well, these look quite nice, and so yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It was, interesting.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. I'm Vilma. Right here next to me, we've got Heather Herford, who is the the board chair for KMVT, and Shelley Wolf, also the executive director for KMVT. Well, I'm so glad that you guys are here, that you guys stopped by. Anyway, so
Thank you, Vilma.
you're so welcome. So tell us about the importance of the community media for Silicon Valley.
Yeah, well, I think this community is so lucky to have Shelley and the staff of KMVT. It's such a wonderful organization with a huge heart. Really here to connect people, give people an opportunity to tell their stories using really the most powerful medium we have today, video. You know, you can reach so many people with your message, and production value matters. And KMVT is there to really teach people how to produce really great shows and videos and help make our communities and our world a better place.
Totally, I totally agree with that. And like you said, it's also empowering the community, right? Giving a lot of people a chance to see what's going on, how to interact, you know, like you said, stories to share. And Shelley, what is new with our studios?
Yeah,
what do
well,
we
we've got
have?
all kinds of great things going on in our studios. It's really exciting. First, I wanted to say thank you to my entire staff and my board for being supportive. But we just finished raising our money for our capital campaign and updated our studio to full HD and our production truck. So today we're out here using our cameras for the very first time. So it's very exciting. But, you know, we've got a lot of new education programs going on. We're going to have an event on October 3rd, open house for the community to come by and see what we're doing. But, you know, we really want to make this a media maker center that people can come to. As Heather alluded to, you know, it's the most powerful form of media right now is video, and so if we can help people utilize video content in many different ways and shapes and put it on different platforms, that's what we're here to do. So it's very exciting that now we have the technology. I also want to give a big shout out to TVU, who's a local partner here in the Bay Area, or actually in Mountain View, I should say, who actually is giving us a backpack to go live today. So thank you to them as well.
Right. What other events and programs do we have for KMVT for the year?
Well, I mean, I think Shelley was just mentioning the classes, the training programs, and it's really pretty remarkable the extent to which KMVT and the staff are able to reach people both at the station and out in schools, local after-school programs, YMCA programs, really hands-on learning, you know, every day after school with kids, giving them the tools they need. So the education programs, I think, are huge. And then not just for kids, for adults too. They're really great. Over multiple weeks, people can come in and learn production from end to end, learn all the positions in the control room and everything it takes to produce a TV show. So it's a unique opportunity, and you know, the cost, when you think about what you get in return, the cost is incredibly low. So if you are involved at all with KMVT, I also want to just remind everybody it is a nonprofit, so always donate small amounts, large amounts, anything in between. Everything makes a difference and goes a really long way at this great organization.
Yeah, we offer a lot of scholarship opportunities for kids to come to camps. So our camps are an amazing opportunity for young youth to come and really get hands-on experience. We open it up starting at 7 years old this year. Usually it's 10, and the classes just continue to grow. And so it's amazing that the young kids are really, you know, have this advantage of having technology at their hands, so, and fingertips. So it's very exciting.
I know I was in one of those programs with the kids, and they're just amazing. They learn so fast, and they're, you know, they tried the hosting, they did the cameras, they did editing, and they're just amazing, giving them this opportunity to see what they're gonna, you know, do in the future, what they like, what they can pretty much. And you had a summer program for the kids too, right?
Yes, we did. And then October, our first new class that we're gonna be offering is Basics to Screenwriting. So it's an 8-week course, and it's for adults, but it'll be a fun time. Literally take your script, bring in your script, and you're going to go for 8 weeks and learn how to make it a full script, and you'll get to present it in front of the camera as well. So
how can they join our community?
How can people join?
Yes, our KMVT community.
Yeah. KMVT,
I love it.
KMVT15.org. Everything's on the website. So come by. We're located at Terabella at 1400 and right off Shoreline in Middlefield. And, take a tour of the studio at any time. Check it out. We always have shows in the evenings, and it's always a great time to see live production in action. A huge thank you to all the volunteers who are involved at KMVT. I mean, we could not do it without them. Today, everybody's volunteering their time. All weekend, staff and volunteers have been here making this event possible, just like yourself. And
I know, I was a volunteer. I mean, I still am a volunteer, but I took one of the programs and I love it, and I continue to give of my time because I can see the value. I think that's the beautiful thing about a community, access TV like this, KMVT.
Yeah.
There's also the sports programs, right, which we haven't really mentioned, but I mean, talk about, a really direct impact on the community, not just sports, but also the graduations that KMVT produces
we do
for
all
the high schools and middle
graduations,
schools.
and we've been doing a lot more music performances and stuff within the school. So really, if you guys know of a performance that needs to be covered or an event that needs to be covered within our schools, we really try to reach out and work with schools. We've also started a lot of digital literacy programs, really trying to work with teachers and principals and parents to really help them utilize computer skills and media as well, or also help them bring media into the classroom and help them, integrating that whole STEAM effort, right? Science, technology, engineering, arts, and media. So, yeah.
Yeah. So how many shows do we have, kind of roughly, the different types of shows that we have at KMVT?
We roughly are sitting at about 35 currently,
Whoa.
independent shows. So again, it's all volunteers who are producing shows. And a lot of people say, well, why would people come in and produce shows? Like, what does that look like? Why do they want to get involved? Again, they're not here to make money. They're here to spread their education and information that they know. So it's maybe having somebody who wrote a book on, or talking about events that are happening in the community. We have music shows, cooking shows. I mean, it's a wide range. We have the Better Part. They've been producing for over 20 years, and it's a group of seniors who come and they actually produce and rotate positions every year, and they're always looking for volunteers and crew. So it's a great opportunity just to keep the mind working and to, hands-on and just, make new friendships. I mean, I think that's the other exciting part. This is about creating new friendships of people who have the same interests and balance in life.
That's right. I mean, because we live here, it's nice to see that there are so many different things that people are talented. There's music. There's a story to share. Some kind of. I saw one of the poetries. They're just amazing, talented people out there in so many communities.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that KMVT is here. Actually, I love it. So if you have the opportunity, do join KMVT.
Absolutely, and we're always looking for board members. Heather's our board chair, and we have a lot of board members that are people who want to get involved. It's also another way to get involved. We're going to be setting up an advisory council, and it would be great to get people involved to really support our long-term efforts. So
that's great. Any last words before we take it to the streets, or?
Thank you all for your support. We couldn't do it without you. So
thank you for the support. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Bye.
And thank you so much. And back to Claudia.
One of the greatest things about the Art and Wine Festival is that every year they have these great classes, and you can drink on the street. So this is I'm trying the Domenico's Mambo Italiano, the spicy Latina that I am. I'm gonna see. I think everybody smells cherry. I smell cherry in here. Oh, this is good.
You'll find it a terrific wine to pair with food, especially, of course, pasta.
Pasta. Nice bolognese. I gotta slow down. I have two more to no. Oh, thank you so much. It's delicious. So Domenico's in San Carlos, on the stop, on a passport stop. So if you come here to the Wine Haven at the Art and Wine Festival, for $45, you get to taste at least three wines each of the 5 vineyards that are representing here today. So that's almost 15 tastings. And then you get a free passport so that you can go back and taste some more wines in Santa Cruz Mountains. I think this is hitting me already. So I'm gonna slow it down. But this is great. Claudia Cruz, Art and Wine Festival with KMVT Channel 15. Thank you.
Okay.
You want me to stand up? I assume.
So, what's your name?
My name is Lori Barmore.
And these paintings are very abstract and very unique. So, what is it that you're doing here?
Well, I love the natural designs in nature, and so oftentimes that's what is my inspiration, although the end result rarely looks like what I started from as my encouraging, idea. So sometimes it's things I've read, and I just kind of follow it through in my thoughts and try to bring an image that would reflect that idea. So,
How did you get started with painting, and how did you get an interest in art and stuff like that?
well, I've always been interested in art, but I actually started more midlife when my children ended up in school. I'm actually a nurse by profession, and but I started taking classes, and it just became a passion for me, and so now whenever I have free time, that's what I'm doing. So.
When did you get started? Was this something just more recent, or was it something you've been doing?
No, it was 18 years ago. Yeah, so I've been painting for a while. So I still work part-time, but then I paint the other time. So.
That's awesome. And you've done things like this before, different festivals, arts and wine festivals?
I have. I've done the Saratoga Rotary several years, and Fremont Show, and Triton Museum has a summer festival that I've participated in also. But this is my first year in Mountain View, so yeah.
Well, I hope you're enjoying it. You said that a lot of your paintings are inspired by what you see in nature and stuff like that. Could you just show us one of your paintings and tell us what inspired you to make it?
Okay, well, a good example is this one right here, the Ladders and Stairs, this piece. There's out near Pacific Grove, if you are on the coast, all the rocks look like they're pushed up out of the water, and many of them have lines, horizontal and vertical, that just made me think of ladders and stairs. And so I did 3 pieces actually with that theme in mind. This was the second one. The first one was this blue and black and white one up in the corner there. And then the third one I sold at the last festival I was in. So it's kind of, like I said, you wouldn't necessarily think that that was from a rock, but that was what was the inspiration for that piece. So
These are all very beautiful, and thank you for coming to the festival. Thank you for talking to us, and hope to see you next year.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Every person that we air on TV.
Okay, so your name is?
David Quill.
David Quill, and how did you get interested in starting to
Drum making?
work drums?
I started back in 1996. Learned from a master drum maker in Belize. And spent time down there, and that's how I got started. And then it's progressed to this point now where I've got my own design.
Yes.
So I started hand carving drums, and these are stave drums here. They're cut and glued, right? So yeah, a little different.
So, but you did the hand carving of the drum structure?
Oh yeah. That's how I learned. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's quite nice, and that's pretty complicated work too, isn't it?
Well, it's a little complicated. It's laborious, that's for sure. So, but yeah, there's a trick to it. There's a skill level to it. Learning to make a drum, you bet.
So, did you play percussion?
Yeah, I've always played music, and I progressed into percussions around that time.
I see.
So I took a big interest in it, and it stayed with me all these years. So.
That's quite nice. And do you? I saw the guitar pick jewelry that you were doing, and what else? And I see some tambourines over there.
Hand percussion instruments, and
that's quite nice.
A little something for everybody.
Yeah.
So I like to try to do it. So.
And a kalimba. I had not seen a kalimba. But is that a Hawaiian?
No, it's
where does it
African
come-
as well. Like
Is that-
most percussion hails from Africa, but a kalimba is just play with the. It's just the keys on there, and you play it like so.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard of them, but I didn't know what
Right.
I've heard the word, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was all about.
Right.
This is quite nice.
Thank
so
you.
Are you exploring in different areas? Are you still exploring in different?
Yeah,
trying to do different kind of stuff.
Yeah, I try to do. I do. I get around and I find African designs, and go from there.
I
you
see.
know, I do. Yeah.
Well, it looks quite nice.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
yeah, it is. Well, thank you. I
All
enjoyed
right.
talking to you.
And you as well.
Bye bye.
KMVT15 is your community media center. We are here to provide hands-on training, equipment, and resources to you to express your voice over many distribution platforms. Since 1982, KMVT15 has been providing media resources to the community. Yearly, we train over 300 youth through our video camps. Hundreds of scouts come yearly to take tours and learn about media in order to earn their journalism badges. We offer classes in all areas of media, from video to editing, photography, graphics, video chats, and much more. Training can also be done on location. KMVT15 has a community message board that runs daily, providing information to the community about upcoming events. We also provide tools to nonprofits to create dynamic video messaging quickly with an online system. We offer sponsorship opportunities to businesses to support our efforts in creating local and educational programs, from high school and middle school sports to Project Connect, a digital media learning initiative. KMVT15 provides an array of innovative media production services to create compelling media for businesses, nonprofits, and individuals. By hiring our professional staff, you are helping us to support our mission to provide resources and educational opportunities to the community. KMVT15 works with schools to provide digital literacy training for teachers, students, and parents. We provide after-school opportunities like MV Youth Productions, which gives students hands-on digital video and team-building skills. KMVT15 provides coverage of graduations, sports, and local arts. KMVT15 brings you local coverage from government meetings and elections to ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. KMVT15 is your distribution resource over the air, online, and via streaming. We have a potential viewership of over 400,000 throughout the entire Bay Area via Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. We also have a strong viewership online, reaching millions on YouTube, and a Roku channel that streams our content and has a potential reach of over 5 million viewers. So when you think of KMVT15, remember we have a full production facility, production truck, and an award-winning staff here to support your needs.
Good shape. Oh, you got a big name tag. I got a little thing. Oh, that's all right. What does it say down there? Oh, Cupertino.
Hi, we're back here at the Mountain View Arts and Wine Festival. I'm with two heavyweight politicals. I have John McAllister, the mayor of Mountain View, and Ron Sink, the mayor of Cupertino, and we're delighted to have them join us here today. We're going to talk about a couple of issues that are important to both communities. Let me start by just saying welcome to the festival. It's your city, of course. And
It's my city, isn't it? A darn good city. You know, we're one of the best festivals that you ever see around. You know, we get about 150,000 people come here because this is so well loved.
And why is it that this is the best?
Well, just look at the location we are, the event that they put in the preparation. We got live TV coverage like this. We got a Super Bowl pre-show coming over here. The vendors, the entertainment. It's just fantastic.
That's great. I agree. It is the best one. I enjoy it. KMVT comes here every year. And Rod, do you have a festival similar to this in Cupertino?
Well, we did yesterday. The Rotary Club in the city of Cupertino put on a great festival for the city's 60th birthday, focusing on education. I ran a robotics scrimmage for local high school teams, including the Space Cookies that meet at NASA up near Mountain View.
I see. Is it similar to this, all being an arts and wine festival, or is it more of a...
No booze, but lots of fun and educational things. I was a Mountain View resident, I have to say, till '87, and then I saw the light and moved to Cupertino. But there's no doubt you guys put on a hell of a party.
That was the dark light.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you guys are interesting from a couple perspectives, and one of them is those perspectives is that you have seen the light about trying to come together and solve or address our transportation issue here in the South Bay. It has gotten horrific. We all know that. It's getting on the freeway at commute hours is just a terrible, challenging situation. I'll start with you, Rod, to talk a little about this coalition you've set up.
Yeah, we got all the mayors of the North County and the West Valley together. We had 3 meetings here in Mountain View City Hall, and we looked at these problems holistically and understand that, as our region continues to grow, there have to be solutions. If we ask Google and Apple in our respective cities and others to reduce single occupancy vehicle trips by a third or even a half, that mitigates some of the traffic, but only up to half of it. So as we grow, with our roads already full, we need to find solutions that involve the same kinds of things that other metropolitan areas do, so sure. Mass transit.
Now, John, you got the big tech companies here. You have a few in Cupertino also, but you've got the big ones, Google, and Sunnyvale has a bunch of them. So this is a coalition with Sunnyvale, Mountain View, and
we
Cupertino.
got Palo Alto, Cupertino, Campbell, Montecito, Los Gatos, because it affects everybody. We're considered North County, which is Sunnyvale, Mountain View, Palo Alto, Los Altos, I'm not Sunnyvale, but those cities. And if you look at where all the jobs are over the last couple decades, they're along 101 and 237. And Mountain View, because of its geographical location, we got 85, 101, and 237. We're getting everybody's jamming through here to get to their certain points of jobs. And right now, our transportation system doesn't get people from their house to their jobs. And they could be living out in the East Bay, they could be down in South County, they could be in San Francisco, and we need to figure out a way to get the mass transit, to get transportation to get to their jobs, and not just around down the streets.
Is this going to be a partnership between the private corporate world and the government world, or and maybe consumers, or the state government?
It may be. I mean, we are looking at several cities during the process leading up to what's called VPT 2040 has asked our transit agency to fund a very substantial study followed by a project in the cities of Mountain View, Cupertino, and Campbell. All asked for between $750 and $800 million to really address the issues that we see from going from not simply to San Jose, but from southern places like Los Gatos and South San Jose all the way up to places like Mountain View, where, as John correctly points out, we have
is this
large corporate campuses.
Is this federal money you're looking for?
We're looking for money on the local sales
money.
Tax measure, a half-cent tax, but that often gets matched then with state money and federal money, assuming the study is done to a rigorous federal standard.
Now, you were mentioning about private-public. Right now, people don't realize with Google shuttles, they are the largest private transportation system in the United States. And if we didn't have their shuttles moving people around, our roads would even be worse. And so we're trying to expand that what they can and try to get VTA to say, here's a model that works. Follow it.
I'd heard, maybe a rumor, that used to be you had to show a Google employee ID, but now you just jump on the bus and go.
Well, that depends. If you live in San Francisco and you have a Google bus, you got to be on a Google bus. But what we're working out of here is we get a lot of people take Cal trains down to Mountain View, and we do have a lot of shared shuttles that will take you to North Bayshore or take you to Wistman. But we are trying to work with those big companies to open up their buses to everyone. But they figure once they're on a bus, it's sort of proprietary, and they don't want to share some secrets and going on there.
Okay, well, we're going to watch this. I've got this show, Game Changer Silicon Valley. I'm going to follow up with each of you and see if we can't get a little more information on that program.
Okay.
You bet.
Let me move on to another topic, that being near and dear to everybody's heart, education. We're just not, probably most people agree, we're not educating our kids the way they should be educated for 21st century jobs. I was saying that education today is focusing on jobs that disappeared 20 years ago. It's my personal opinion, but I'll state it here. What's going on? What roles are you able to bring, or effect are you able to have in, let's say, we'll start with you in Cupertino, about the educational system?
Well, as we're growing, being a state that funds education about last in the country, we're not quite last
49th
anymore.
or 47th.
Thanks to Jerry Brown and company, but we're way down there, and we have a great education system despite that. But it's tough. How do teachers making $60,000 live in our area?
That's it.
And are we getting the best people into teaching and retaining them? So in Cupertino, our value system reflects that in the community benefits program that we've adopted for development. That is, when somebody comes to town wanting to build new office space or hotel or almost anything, we're looking to see how our schools are affected. And we'd like every development project, I personally like to see every development project actually have a net positive benefit to schools.
I see.
And so if you take a look at, for example, the new program that's been development project revealed recently called Valco, the Hills at Valco, that's coming with a whole new elementary school as well as 10,000 square feet for our high schools to get together for STEM programs and other things.
Yeah. You know, I didn't mean to imply or criticize the education system or the schools themselves. I think what I was suggesting is that the curriculums have not kept up to speed with the changing needs. Schools are doing what they can.
Curriculums, funding, and
funding.
You know, how teachers are paid.
How are things here in Mountain View? Are they about the same, or do you have different
we have
challenges?
similar things, and one of the deals that one of the privileges I have as mayor is I get to go do corporate visits, and we go to them, very high-tech, manufacturing, whatever, and ask them, what can we do for you? And they're very concerned about getting employees. And we're talking about starting, as the mayor is saying, about STEM program and starting the education early, or those getting people exposed to it, getting young girls exposed to STEM projects so that when they move up that we do have them. And then we're also starting to find that maybe not everybody's for college, but if we can do certification programs or something where we can train you specifically to do tasks or subjects, then they don't necessarily have to go there, but they're still productive, and the companies want them.
Yep. Let me touch on one last topic now. You came out of the private sector, got into government. How's that been? Has that been a tough transition, or have you enjoyed it and maybe been challenged by it?
You know, politics can be challenging, but I think there are a lot of important initiatives we can take to make finances more transparent. When I came into my city, things were a bit opaque. And we know there's good budgeting practice and other things and discipline we can bring to the city. So,
John, you actually run a couple of businesses right now also.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a Baskin-Robbins franchise, a couple of things going. I got to believe that your day-to-day business experience brings a certain amount of sensibility to city government.
You're absolutely right, because it goes from dealing with government, dealing with employees, dealing with education, how they're dealing with how to get employees, the effect of the minimum wage coming in, or the cost of living in this area, dealing with suppliers, dealing with landlords, and everything's going up in cost and trying to balance it. And so it's on city council, yes, as one of the only people that actually owns a business, I do bring a real life experiences to the job.
You know, there's a little bit of a debate now, since you've got a business like this, about this minimum wage. I think there's two sides that are both valid. What's your sense of this minimum wage issue?
I think there is a balance. Somewhere we need to find a balance and see how we implement the project. But if it's just, you were talking about youth, and a lot of times it's important to get youth involved in working early, but I'm concerned about if minimum wage gets too high, then we might exclude some of the young people and get that first experience, which is part of their long-term education.
Right. So, Rod, are you going to stay in government for a while? How long have you been mayor now so far, and are you going to continue?
Well, I'll be mayor until December. We rotate every year.
Oh, you're out then after a year.
But then
you're in the city council.
I'll be on the council.
Back in the council.
And can stand for re-election in November 2016.
Oh, 2016. And you? John?
I got the same thing. My mayorship ends in January. And I'll be looking for running again for the council next year, too.
Okay. Well, I want to thank both of you. You've been delightful guests, very informative. I appreciate your candor and directness. And I want to say we'll enjoy the rest of the Arts and Wine Festival here. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. The weather's
Appreciate
great. Come on down.
Okay, we're going to go to Claudia now out in the Arts and Wine Festival here.
Claudia Cruz here at the Art and Wine Festival representing KMVT, and I'm here with Shannon, who's with Cinnabar Winery. Shannon, tell me a little bit more about Cinnabar.
Cinnabar Winery is in downtown Saratoga. We're a tasting room. We're open 7 days a week, 12 to 5, 12 to 6. We have some great wines. We have a lot of red blends, and we have a great Chardonnay this year. So I invite everyone to come on down and see us any day of the week.
And you guys are participating in the Art and Wine Festival this year. I believe it might be your first.
Actually, it's our second.
Great.
We were here last year as well.
And tell us about the experience of being able to bring Cinnabar out of Saratoga and onto the Castro Strip here.
Okay, well, you know what? We're pretty well known all over in the Santa Clara Valley and the Santa Cruz Mountain region. So we do have a lot of our members that stop by that live here in Mountain View. So we see a lot of familiar faces, but we also are able to reach a lot more of the public by being out here in Mountain View.
Excellent. And what do you think about, again, the passport program and trying to get people to not only taste the wine here, but then continue their tasting and supporting the Wine Growers Association?
Passport days are great. The Santa Clara Valley Wine Growers Association and the Santa Cruz Mountain Wine Growers Association have passport days once a quarter. So 4 to 8 times a year we're participating. You're welcome to come to our winery any day of the week with your passport. We honor it at any time. Love passport days, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement there.
And what's your favorite? I know you can't have one baby, but if you're starting off at Cinnabar, what is maybe the go-to wine that you will suggest to people?
Okay, so usually it's our signature blend, which is our Mercury Rising. This is the bread and butter of our winery. We make sure everybody gets a taste of this before they leave. We've been venting this since 2007, has been a winner at the California State Fair every year since 2007. San Francisco Chronicle, Sunset Magazine. This is the go-to wine you have to try if you come into the winery.
And I'd be remiss not to ask how the weather conditions and the drought may be affecting the vineyards. I'm sure you are taking every precaution to make sure that we continue to have great wine coming out of Cinnabar. But how have you maybe changed some of the things that you're doing to make sure that you continue to put out quality wines?
Well, interestingly enough, I'm told from our winemaker that the vines aren't going to feel any stress for at least 3 years. It takes 3 years of drought to actually affect the roots of the vine. So we shouldn't see anything for a couple of years if we do at all. Most of the vineyards that we grow our grapes in are dry farmed. So there is no irrigation except natural irrigation. So we'll see what happens. It could even lead to a bumper crop. Who knows?
Great. So I know the next time I'm heading up to Mountain Winery and I head on Saratoga Avenue, Route 9, I'm going to stop by Cinnabar and make sure I taste Mercury Rising. But I might taste some of the other things here first so I can tell you how delicious it is.
I'm happy to wait on you myself.
Thank you, Shannon. Claudia Cruz, KMVT at the Wine Haven here at the Art and Wine Festival. See you next time.
Welcome back to the intersection of Castro and Church Street in Mountain View at the Art and Wine Festival. We're going to move now to Carl at the truck for another interview.
Hello everybody, my name is Carl Faust and I'm here with Max Bosell, the police chief of the Mountain View Police Department. Max, would you like to say hi?
Hello everybody.
And we're just here at the Mountain View Arts and Wine Festival to talk about the interesting developments in the police department this year and how the police department has played a role in the Mountain View community. So Max, what are some of the developments in crime that you've seen over this past year and how do you see the year going in the future?
So in this last year with crime, we've seen an increase in crime. Our lowest recorded crime in the city of Mountain View was in the year 2011. And since then, we've seen incremental increases, especially in our property crimes. But within the last year, significantly, we've seen increases with our auto burglaries and our residential burglaries. So we are doing more in terms of our outreach to engage and communicate with the community about that. And our investigative strategies are very much focused in that area and those problems. So we've had some success. In the last week, we've actually arrested a number of people for residential burglary and auto burglary. And we've identified people in certain crimes with the use of good old policing through our obtaining fingerprints at crime scenes and being able to identify suspects that way. So those are some of the initiatives that we're taking to address some of the problems related to the increase in crime.
So Mountain View is, from what I've seen, one of the safest cities in the Bay Area. Of course, I've only lived here for just over 3 years, but so far I've seen that it's a relatively safe place to live and raise a family. Do you believe that this increase in crime requires such necessary attention, or would you like to speak to that?
So we are fortunate. We do have a relatively safe community. It's a great place to live and raise a family, like you say, but we're not immune from the problems of our region. So we do see we are affected by what's happening in the region, and some of the increases in crime is probably reflective of that. So we can't be blind. We can't pretend that we live in a vacuum, because that's not the case. And I think comparatively it's hard to say how Mountain View compares to different areas, but I am proud in the work that we do, the work the community does to keep us a safe community. And the efforts that we take, we really try to take multifaceted, both from a policing perspective of maybe proactive patrols or certain investigative strategies, but also engaging the community and allowing them to notify us when certain things happen. So, for example, we had a shoplift that turned into a robbery at Walmart, and we posted a photo of the suspect that was taken by the camera system at Walmart, and a citizen in the community was able to identify that suspect, which allowed us to obtain an arrest warrant and close that case. So those are the initiatives and efforts that really help us, that the community itself takes a proactive stance in tackling the crime issues that we're facing.
That's amazing. And I would say in our nation, especially in this area, there's been a push towards getting body cameras on all officers.
Yep.
Would you like to speak to some of the concerns or the probability of that happening within Mountain View or the Bay Area?
So we call them here officer-worn cameras. So I don't like calling our police officers bodies. They're police officers, so I call them officer-worn cameras. And we've been beta testing those for a number of years. Last week we implemented it department-wide. We have 66 cameras now currently. We need to get a little bit more for our full staff. We have 95 sworn, a complement of 95 sworn for myself on down. But the 66 allows us to equip our patrol officers, and we currently deploy it throughout our patrol force. The interesting elements, the things that we're really kind of trying to figure out, are the issues around privacy, when video can be released or not released. So, for example, if we're in somebody's home because we were called in there and we're dealing with a domestic dispute situation, what are the privacy concerns about that? What is able to be released publicly or not? What's the interest for the public to have that? And of course, victims of crime, how cameras might impact people's willingness to make statements, and also very importantly is then having the officers, ensuring the officers use them in enforcement contacts. More often than not, the cameras have proved effective in dispelling issues or allegations of misconduct, where we're able to show what actually occurred. And that's the strength of the camera, and certainly the expectations, I think, of the public related to the trust and support that they want from their police services. The Bay Area, I think industry-wide, you're going to see this roll out on a more extensive basis. But we've actually been, I think, ahead of the curve on that, and have it fully deployed now since September 1st.
Sounds like from what I'm hearing, it sounds like the Mountain View Police Department is very community conscious, and I think that it's going to be a great year for policing in this.
Yes, I think we're certainly not perfect, right? I don't want to come across to say we're certainly focused on continuous improvement, but we are community focused, and we take a strong effort to ensure that we continuously improve our community relations, our community focused policing. It's important for us.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Max. So now we're going to go back to Vilma with the fire chief.
Hi, and welcome back to the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. I'm Vilma, and we have Jim, and we've got Fire Chief Diaz from the Mountain View Fire Department. Welcome, and so glad that you could join us here. Yep. So I understand that you are new. You've just been appointed as the fire chief. How does it feel?
It feels great. Today is actually my first official day as Mountain View's fire chief.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I can see that beautiful smile.
Thank
yes. So, yeah, Jim, go ahead.
Well, we had a little conversation off camera here earlier, and I was fascinated, frankly, to learn how broad your responsibility level is. You have to take care of all medical issues in the city, resulting from a fire or anything to do with fire. You have to respond to many accidents in the city where somebody's hurt. I had no idea the coverage and responsibility was so broad. And you're also responsible for inspecting all the buildings for fire, making sure that the wiring is correct, everything's correct. We have fire extinguishers. How big is your team that you have?
So that's correct. So we have 5 fire stations. The department is approximately 80 employees, and there's 2 primary large divisions. One is the fire suppression and EMS division, and then we also have our fire and environmental division. But and in addition, the smaller division, which is the Office of Emergency Service, is also part of the fire department and the service we provide.
I see. Is the major area of activity large fires or responding to accidents, or what is your most predominant activity?
So we're an all-risk department.
All risk.
That means any type of emergency that you could potentially encounter, we will respond and we will mitigate. But primarily, our calls are all related to medical nowadays. So 90% of the calls that we go to are medical in nature, whether it's a medical situation that someone is having, or is as a result of a vehicle accident or some other type of accident, whether it's an entrapment or
entrapment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, since we're having like a really dry season, what kind of advice can you give the people here in Mountain View and around?
Certainly. Yeah. Well, this is the time of the year in which it's very busy for the fire department. In fact, right now we have 2 engine companies from Mountain View that are providing service up in Lake County area. My advice would be just to be extremely careful with outdoors fires, any type of barbecue and outdoors. When you're finished with your barbecue, because this is the time of the year, your hot coals need to make sure that they're very cool before you decide to discard them. Cooking errors also happen quite often, and that happens throughout the year. But another area to pay attention to is just to be careful with your cooking. We recommend that you maintain a working smoke detectors in every room in your home. So if you were to be in need of one, then they will alert you of that.
Mm-hmm. You also have to deal with some of the accidents on the freeways here. If a car catches on fire, I've seen some really unfortunate but spectacular blazing cars on 101 from time to time. That falls under your jurisdiction?
Absolutely. So we're on all risk, as I mentioned. So vehicle fires, regardless of where they happen, whether they're in a building, which we've had a couple in the last year, or they happen on the roadways, freeways, or surface streets, that is our primary area of responsibility. So we're trained and equipped to deal with those as well.
So on the community side, I love his smile. On the community side, what do you have in store for the activities, within the Mountain View Fire Department? What kind of activities do you have that community can get involved in?
So we do have our Office of Emergency Service. We do provide a group of volunteers to be trained as basically emergency responders within their own business or within their own neighborhood associations.
Oh, really?
So if you go to the fire department website under our OES, we do have a volunteer group that helps us with that, and we provide the training.
So what does it take for training for emergency?
There's different levels of training you can get. There's there's one that is 8 hours, there's another one that is a 3-day training. So there's different levels depending on how involved you want to get. But it's just in case of an emergency, to where perhaps if it's a large catastrophe and we're all going to be very busy, so you can take care of your own neighborhood and your local immediate area.
Where do your borders start and stop? Is it purely city limits, or do you extend beyond that?
No, we do extend beyond that. In fact, currently with us in the city of Palo Alto, we've eliminated our boundaries. So we send the closest resource. So it could be a call in the city of Mountain View, and you may see us with Palo Alto Fire. And equally the same, if it's in the city of Palo Alto, we also, if we're closer, we'll send our resources to their city as well.
I see, yeah.
So it's just the closest unit is what we're working towards.
Does that also apply to forest fires up outside the city limit up past 280, or is that?
And so it does apply to, in the freeways, we have what's called automatic aid. So if our apparatus are closer, even though it may be out of the city limits, we will be the resource that will respond.
Well, that's great. Now, you're a 24/7 operation, 365 days a year.
We don't take a day off.
That is pretty challenging.
It is, and there goes the mayor right behind us.
Great.
All right.
Fire Chief, I'd like to thank you for your time. It's been great meeting you and having a few comments from you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're back to Claudia in the streets.
Claudia Cruz at the Art and Wine Festival, the 44th annual, with KMVT here, and I have the pleasure and honor of standing with, I'm a little small, but I'm trying to stand with Lorenzo Neal here. Yeah. How are you doing? What brought you here today, and how excited must you be to have the Super Bowl in this area?
I'm so excited, especially being a co-host of 95.7 The Game morning show, being able to do that in the morning from 6 to 10. So tune in, 95.7 The Game. There's my plug. But no, it's just great to meet so many people, especially with the National Football League, what they're doing, able to team up with the city and communities and say, no, what, it's not about them, it's about the community. And that's what the league's done, a phenomenal job of connecting, like my wig, huh?
A blooper, we're going to edit that one out.
That's a blooper. No, but it's awesome because the NFL does a great job of connecting with community because they understand that they don't own their brand, people do. And you see some of the partners, the Chevron, and the different guys that's coming out and really put this on together, this amazing event where you have the community and the National Football League come together and bring out the, the Super Bowl trophies and just tie in. And it's awesome to see that so many people are coming out and supporting what the league's doing and what this community doing. This wine festival every year is awesome. And what better place to shoot out Super Bowl 50 in the Mecca, San Francisco. Awesome.
I'm sure you've been to Levi Stadium. What do you think?
Oh, it's freaking phenomenal. They have everything there. Levi Stadium's an amazing stadium, and I think it's great to host a Super Bowl. I think it's going to be an amazing turnout. I think the city of San Francisco, and just not just San Francisco, but San Jose, this community is all a part, and we're all grouped together, and we're going to be able to touch so many lives and doing it through football. It's just amazing how football has brought everyone together for this amazing event. We're 8 months away, and it's just already cracking, so it's just awesome that the Super Bowl is really teaming up with community to make this a huge event.
I'm not going to correct you, but it's 147 days. I don't think that's 8 months. But
it's 147
But I only
days.
say that because they have a great website, superbowl50.com, and they have a countdown that actually goes up. And 147.
How many days again?
147 days.
147 days. So
you can follow them on Twitter at superbowl50.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at superbowl50. So
what's your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
My Twitter handle is Lorenzo Neal. 41 Lorenzo Neal. How about that? Are you going to start following me now?
I will start following you.
And I will follow you as well.
Okay.
You're the best.
I'm at Cruise News, so just letting people.
She's awesome. She needs to give this lady a raise. She should be running it all. She's the best.
Oh, thank you. So you have such a great rapport with the community. I just mean kids, adults, older. I mean, you are loved. You've been in so many teams, and I'm sure that people are like, I used to watch you play back at here and back there, and the Titans, and and you. How does it feel?
It feels great because you can go to communities. Like you said, I played in so many communities. Tampa Bay, played in New Orleans. You played in the Jets. I played in
the Raiders.
Played with the Raiders. Played in San Diego. So when you go through all these different Cincinnati, so it's something Baltimore. So sometimes I can't even remember how many communities you will be a part of, but it's just neat because every single city and every single state that you played in, you take a little piece from it. You take a little piece from it, and you're able to tell people about the different cultures that you've been able to experience. So it's awesome. Love it. I'm California boy, California raised, and this is just a great place. Love to be in the Bay Area. It's awesome. People are great. And I'm just enjoying the ride.
I'd be remiss if I don't bring up some of the issues that people might have with maybe the congestion and all the traffic and. But do you think all that stuff is once they're in the midst of Super Bowl experience, they'll forget about some of the complications that they're all worried about now?
Yeah, absolutely. People are going to talk about being in the city and understanding that we're having traffic. But at the Moscone Center downtown, that's going to be the headquarters for all the media, so it's centralized. When your Super Bowl is going to be in San Jose at the stadium, so that's centralized. So you're really not going to be caught in a bunch of traffic. And then this city has the best traveling system through Tran, through BART. They have so many different ways that you can travel in the city, so I think the city is going to look forward to it, and people are going to be surprised how well they can get around because of all the public transportation that the city has to offer.
Who's your pick for?
You're going to put me in for the Super Bowl? That part, really?
Yes.
You're going to do that to me?
Yes. I was in Vegas this week, and I couldn't even bet on the Super Bowl yet. But
we have.
How are the Niners looking? How are the Raiders looking?
I think the Niners and the Raiders are going to surprise a lot of people. I'll put it that way. I think that those are teams that they're going to build it. They're building, but I think they surprise a lot of people. Everyone thinks these teams are only going to win 3 or 4 games. No. These teams will win. They have enough athletes and enough talent. Both these teams are going to win. They're going to surprise some people. I would love to have a Bay team in the Super Bowl. That'd be great for our city, but don't know if that's going to happen. But I do know that they're going to be better than what people think.
And you are from the Bay Area? You live here in the Bay Area now?
Yes, so I live here in the Bay Area.
And do you come to the Art and Wine Festival? Say yes.
Oh, this Art and Wine Festival is unbelievable. Look at all the people that's out supporting the community. It's just amazing food, amazing wine, amazing, just different things that you can pick up from the jewelry, the arts, and the crafts, the things that they have in this city just to offer is unbelievable. It's unprecedented. When you see community comes together, that's what it's about. It's not necessarily about the event, it's about the people that makes up the event. So I love the people of San Francisco. You're welcome. Anything for you.
Well, this has been KMVT15 interview with
Lorenzo
Neal. Pro bowler, I mean, you got a couple of things going on, and he's a reporter like I am, so it's a kinship here.
There we go. You're the- and
But
you're
you're on the
best.
radio, but you don't have a radio face. Why are you on the radio?
I do TV too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got a TV. You just saying I got a face for radio, really?
No, I said you don't look like you have a face for radio.
I love her too. Don't give her a
But he
raise
has a
now.
personality for
Yes.
radio because you got to keep people tuned
Entertained,
in
yes,
and
you do.
tuned in.
Yes. Are you not entertained?
I am very entertained.
Thanks, love. So am I.
And I'm I want to say,
What are you gonna say?
go Bucks.
Go Bucks. There you go. You like Tampa, huh?
No, I'm Ohio State Bucks.
Oh,
and
go Eddie George.
Eddie George.
Play with him in
And
Tennessee.
Archie Griffin.
There you go. Get it, girl. Get it, sis.
So thank you,
Thank
Claudia
you.
Cruz at the Art and Wine Festival, the 44th annual here with Lorenzo O'Neill, after experiencing everything the Super Bowl 50 host committee has to offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ready? Okay. And your name is?
Leslie Adams.
And how long have you been doing this beautiful art?
About 10 years now.
I see.
I'm a chef by trade, and I still have my catering business in Palm Springs. And I come on the road and do shows, and this is all watercolor.
Oh,
so
it is watercolor.
yeah,
Interesting.
I want to show how vibrant you can get the colors.
Yeah. It's quite beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
I
very
call it happy art.
It is. It's and the color is quite nice. And
Thank
so
you.
You've been doing the watercolor for.
That's
that
all
long?
I paint is watercolor.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
And what got you into it to begin with?
Well, as a chef, I wanted to find something relaxing as a hobby. So I took this up as a hobby, and then my love for food. So you'll see I have some food paintings out front. The food, and it just transformed into a whole another business, and I love it. I love it. I love it. And painting is just so relaxing and creative.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you go to get some training somewhere?
Nope, self-taught.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so have you been doing other festivals? I mean,
yes.
Is this the first time you've been here?
Second year here.
Uh-huh.
And so I try to, in the summertime, I try to do 4 shows up in the Bay Area. So Los Altos, Saratoga, this one, Los Gatos.
Right.
So I found that they really appreciate my work, and I have a lot of winery. And then when I'm in the desert in Palm Springs, I do 12 shows there, and I paint all the desert and the cactus and all of that. So you need to paint things for where you're going to go.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
So I wouldn't show up here with all my desert scenes because it wouldn't really work.
Yeah, the flowers
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
But so, are there any particular paintings here that you really are most proud of?
I love the floral. Missions speak to me a lot, so I do a lot of the missions. And then traveling. So I've got some of Santorini, some of Italy. I love the Talavera. So, no, I actually love everything I paint. And then the food's out front, so I have some of the food images.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful stuff.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we have great weather this weekend.
Yes, we do. It's better than last week.
Last year it was so hot here.
Oh, well, this last week, up until Friday, it was in the 90s.
I
here
kept
in
Googling
Mountain
it, and I'm thinking, oh, no, please let the weather change. Yes,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carl Faust here at the Arts and Wine Festival in Mountain View. I'm here with Annie Iverson from the Mountain View High School varsity volleyball team. Say hi, Annie. Hi. And we're just going to talk a little bit about how the season's looking for volleyball this year at Mountain View High School. So how are you feeling about this season so far?
I'm feeling really good. It's nice to... this year's going to be, I think, a little bit more smooth than it was last year just because we were transitioning coaches, so... instead of coming in and spending a lot of time getting to know this new coach, getting to know who he was, how he worked, we really just got to jump into the season and really just start focusing on volleyball as opposed to working to get to know each other to begin with. And most of the girls are returning players. We have, I believe, 2 new girls who haven't played with us yet, so it is like a lot of experienced players who all know each other well, so...
So it sounds like the strategy is going to be more refined this year from last year. Last year, I know that you, the varsity volleyball team, lost to Los Altos in the second round of CCS. So how are you feeling about the Los Altos Mountain View rivalry this year?
I'm feeling good. I think that because we are on more stable ground, we have had a season under our belt with our new coach and the fairly revamped program. I think that it's gonna be a little bit more equitable. The court's gonna be a little more even. We're gonna feel a little bit more steady. Having seen them play, also we now know how to change our strategy to work against their strengths and weaknesses. And I think we've really worked on refining our strategy now that our coach knows us as players and the dynamic of the team a lot better, and things will be a bit different as we did have quite a few seniors graduate, very valued members of our team, but I think that everyone's going to step up and is really looking, especially since we have so many seniors, that this is kind of our last year to shine.
So it sounds like it's going to be a great season for Mountain View Volleyball. I hope to see how it plays out. I myself am actually from Los Altos, so I might be rooting for a different side, but I hope that we have a great season anyway. And would you like to talk a little bit about any changes to strategy you might have with this more senior team versus a team that had a lot of seniors graduate last year?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a change in our strategy. Well, number one, it's going to be a bit more refined, I think, because we have had the time to work with our coach a little bit more. He knows us better as players, but I think that last year we had a lot of big hitters. We had both of our middles were above 6 feet. We had two really strong outsides, and we still have great players, but it's definitely different players. So I think that it's going to go well this year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us here at the Mountain View Arts and Wine Festival. So let's go out and meet some more artists.
Okay, and your name is?
Locke Heemstra.
And how long have you been taking these beautiful photographs?
Well, more or less 30 years.
Oh, wow. That's quite nice.
Yeah.
And I see most of them are Italian. Italy.
Well, my most recent trip was to Italy, so that's what I'm displaying more of right now. But I do have a pretty diverse portfolio all around Europe, from Italy, France, England, Ireland, Spain, all over the place, as well as some domestic stuff from San Francisco to New York and all in between.
Oh, wow. So if you've been doing it for this long, then you've obviously transitioned from film into digital.
Well, just recently. I mean, I had so much of my work on film already.
Yeah.
That's just what you see here. But just because it was easier and a little more practical to go with digital, that's why I made the transformation, and a lot less expensive, too.
That's
Processing fees get a little pricey.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of, how do you make the prints onto it's on a canvas?
It's on a linen canvas, which the printer accepts, either paper or linen. So I can print either way. These are all paper in the bins here, and all the ones on the wall are printed on canvas.
I see. Yeah.
And they're all archival, and they have a seal on them, so they're safe and waterproof.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful. So what kind of cameras have you been using?
Well, the earlier days I was shooting large format slide film, which gave the best resolution. And then when I transferred over to digital, you basically want to shoot with something upwards in the 25 megapixel area, just to get the best resolution for enlargements. The bigger the megapixel, the better the enlargement.
Right. So what got you interested to start this?
Well, this is something I picked up as a kid.
Yeah.
I went to school, studied a little bit here and there, and just trial by error.
Ah, I see.
Now it's full time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's quite beautiful work. It's
Thank you very
gorgeous.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And if you want to go to my website, you can look on my website for my images at lockheemstra.com.
Ah, okay. That sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by, guys.
You bet.
Hi there, and welcome back to Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. I'm Vilma. We've got Jim right here, and we have Tom Myers, who's the Executive Director of the CSA, which is a Community Services Agency, right, and which is actually a very valuable nonprofit organization. So tell us about the agency. What does it do? How can it help people?
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, we are a nonprofit organization located here in Mountain View, and we serve low-income and homeless individuals with a variety of services. Those services include food. We have a food pantry program. We have shelter programs. We have services that are specific to seniors or to kids or whatever, but it's all for low-income and homeless individuals, and it's all related to making sure people have enough food to eat and have a roof over their head. So it's an organization that's been here in Mountain View since 1957. So we've gone 58 years now and going strong. We serve over 6,000 people a year with our services, and we do that with 700 volunteers. So it's important work we're doing.
That's amazing. You mentioned just before we started, you have a budget of $3 million a year, and you have to raise every penny of that $3 million to support the staff that does the work, as well as the cost of running these programs. I wonder if you just could comment a little bit about, do you see roughly equal, or what size groups do you see among children? And then people who are working age that just fell on hard times, and then maybe seniors or people who have some other type of condition.
Sure. Well, when you're talking about poverty, people tend to think of middle-aged people, and they don't think of the people on the perimeters of the ages. So it sometimes will shock people when we say that 40% of the people we serve are children. And that just is really an eye-opener for folks, because we're serving families with kids and so forth. Sometimes we even, unfortunately, will serve homeless kids, but 40% of our clients are kids. And then one of the most invisible groups dealing with poverty in our area are seniors. And about 25% of our clients are seniors. And those are people who are dealing, maybe on a fixed income, but they're dealing with the huge rent increases that we're dealing with here right now. And so seniors are becoming a much more important group that we're serving, but they're highly invisible when people talk about poverty.
Do you try to, you got to address the need of hunger and a place to live and shelter, food, clothing, shelter, we'll say. Can you move them into re-entering, was to say, a fully functional role in society?
Well, we can try. And the way that we try and do that is by providing everything from emergency assistance to help with locating properties to rent or whatever, to helping to make sure that they can pay their own rent so that we can prevent them from being homeless. The best way to solve homelessness is to prevent it in the first place. If you can keep people from becoming homeless, that's so much easier than trying to get them housed after they've become homeless. So we do that with a lot of different programs. But the big problem right now that we're dealing with, and that I think everyone is dealing with, is the cost of housing, the cost of rent in this area. And because of that, it's very difficult for anyone who's even just a working class individual to afford the rents in this area. So that's the zeitgeist. That's the world we're dealing with right now. So it sometimes feels like it's a losing proposition. We're finding a lot of working families are actually leaving Mountain View. They're actually leaving the area and moving to places like Gilroy or Stockton or places like that. And more people are falling into homelessness. A shocking statistic that is really eye-opening to folks is that in the last 18 months, the number of homeless clients we are serving has more than doubled.
Wow.
So more than doubled in that time.
Yeah.
So how can they help? I know that because it requires a lot of funding to be able to help these people. So where do you get the funding? How can they help? Because
do you know the most important source? We get funding from all kinds of sources, foundations and corporations, but I think the most important source of funding we have is individuals. Because if we have individual community goodwill, if people know us, know the work we're doing, and invest their donor dollars with us, we can make a difference. It's hard work. So we do need donations, and people can go on our website, www.csacares, all one word, .org. csacares.org, and you can find out how to help that way. Another important way to help, though, is volunteering, because we have over 700 volunteers those volunteers are vital to providing the services that we provide. So whether it's a donation or volunteering or doing a food drive, we always need food donations. So any way you can help.
So local companies can also volunteer, make donations, shall we say, of food, clothing, other items. Any particular items that you're very much in need of?
Definitely in need of food drives. People doing food drives, whether it's through their school or their church or their community center or their corporation. That's one way to do it. Another thing that we are in particular need of is items that can be used for homeless individuals. So, but the best way to get involved, though, is go on our website. We have a full list of needs on the website. And again, that's CSA Cares, one word, CSACARES.org.
So you're there, you mean, how often are you there? How, like, is it totally...
We are there every workday.
Every workday?
Every workday,
No
Monday
rest
through
for you.
Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, every workday, Monday through Friday. So, come on down. You can come down. We're over on Steerland Road.
Great.
All right, so
Tom,
thank
we
you
want to
so
thank you for
much.
coming by. It's been delightful to meet you. I wish
Great.
you every success, and we'll follow up.
Great.
And we're
Thank you
gonna-
very much.
We're going to take you back to Carl over at the truck.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your name?
Dean Shapiro of CuttingEdgeDesignsInc.com.
And what is it here that what is it that you're doing here?
Well, I have slate stone. That's my medium. I use slate from Mariposa, California, from India, the jade color slate, the green stuff from China. And I make products from there, basically water fountains, Ikebana-style flower vases, and some oil lamps also.
Well, that's really cool. How long have you been doing this?
I started in '98. The product was out there at least 10 years before that. A cousin of mine that started it, and I took over a couple years after getting into it. So, and I've been doing shows now. Well, this one in particular, maybe 14 or 15 years now. So.
And how do you even start making something like this?
Well, my cousin got me involved helping him sell at a show, and that was in '98. And then he got me helping him chip some vases, and he kind of got me slowly into it. And then within 2 years, I was making fountains. I was also looking at that point in time for another career. So, and then a couple years, in that time period, he's an Oakland fireman, just retired. So he had a family and a real job too. Besides this is a real job, but full-time fireman. So he sold me the business within that couple of years, and took it over and evolved from that point. The style changes over the years, and this is where I am today, but trying to constantly improve, a work in progress myself and my products.
That's really cool. You said that you get different stones from different parts of the world. So how do you, is there like a difference in the stone textures or looks that you look for when you're picking out a stone?
Well, these three types that I'm using, the Raja Red Slate from India, Jade Color Slate from China, and then Mariposa, California, all slate stone. Slate from India, this Raja, much softer than the other two slates. So as far as there's different techniques for different stones, I can't hit this one as harder or grinding easier. It just each one has a different flakiness to it, or more solidness and unpredictability in all of them. So sometimes I don't know the end product until I see the final shape and then fine tune it, but it does have a mind of its own at times and can have fracture lines that it was going to be a fountain, then it becomes a vase if it's cracked in half or something smaller. But trying to utilize all the stone. Although I do have a nice pile of chips at my shop in Oakland, and you're welcome to take it away for free for landscaping, and it's great fill. The small chips of all slate.
Okay, well, thank you very much. These are really beautiful, and hope to come back and see you again sometime. If you're here next year?
Yes, I've been enjoying the show, like I said, for a good 14 years or so, and sales have already been good this morning, so I'm happy with the start. And it's much cooler. We dodged a bullet. It's not 100 degrees. This weather is very nice. Very nice weather this weekend. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've been doing this Well, actually, why don't you give us your name and how long you've been doing
My
your
name's
pottery?
Herb Roth, and I've been doing it since everybody took over the campus at Stanford and they started the Free U, and I was one of those people. Even though I wasn't a student there, I was one of those outside agitators. And when they sort of settled, they opened up the campus.
Right.
And there's a pottery studio down in the basement of Wilbur Hall.
Ah.
And a woman friend of mine said, you should check that out. I'd done a bunch of things after I was in the service over in Europe. I'd done a number of things in this area. I worked for Raytheon, and I worked for Behavioral Research Labs, and I was a vice president of public relations out in Stanford Professional Park.
Oh, wow.
And that sounded all real interesting to me. So it was a great hobby, and I fell in love with it so much that within a year I had quit my job and become a potter with almost no money, living in a place, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
And I have managed to survive and flourish to a certain extent. Simple living. I guess you could go all the way back to Thoreau or the Quakers or whoever else. And I live in Mendocino County.
I see.
Some friends and I bought some land up there back in the old days when it was affordable.
Yeah.
And I have a river, South Fork of the Eel, a wild river running through my land. And so I get to take care of the water system and chop wood and throw pots and work around the clock so I stay healthy.
Neat.
And I make pottery.
It's very beautiful pottery.
Thank you.
It's quite nice.
And of course, like the famous expression of why Dillinger robbed the banks, because that's where the money was. I find myself coming back here to my roots to sell my pottery.
Right.
I have a lot of old customers, but this is where people are.
Yes.
The otters in the river don't buy pottery. So I have been doing this show since 1972.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of customers, and actually 2 generations of customers and 3 generations who've been buying my pottery.
Yeah.
And I not only have old customers that I'm friends with, they've become good friends, and sometimes they come up and visit me, and they've become part of my life.
Oh, nice.
And that happens at most of the fairs I do.
And what other fairs in the area do you go to?
Oh, I do the Art and Wine Festival in San Carlos,
Right.
and I used to do the one in Sunnyvale.
Yes.
I love the Los Altos show. I've been doing that for a long time. So those are some of the shows. But you know, when you've been a potter as long as I have, there's hardly a town between San Jose and Burlingame that I haven't sold my pottery in. I lived in Menlo Park, so you know, I used to sell in Menlo Park.
When you were at Stanford, yeah.
So, yeah.
Very good. And it's beautiful pottery.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Okay.
Appreciate talking to you.
It's hard to think about stopping to do it, but I'm getting old. I don't know how many more years I'm going to be doing this.
Well, let's hope you keep doing it for a while, because I'll be back to look at your pottery. That looks
Okay.
nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello again, Vilma, right here at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. Jim right next to me, and we've got our board chair, Bill Lambert of the Day Workers Center in Mountain View. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's great.
Yes. So give us what kind of services that the Day Center provide for people.
Okay, the Day Workers Center is located in the corner of Ringsdorf and the railroad track on Escuela Street. We have workers there that show up in the morning, both men and women. They're available to do just about anything: yard work, house cleaning, moving things around that you need done. Some of them are experienced. You can do painting, more sophisticated jobs, some wall boards. People work on roofs. The workers are, if you need special people like that, it's good to call ahead of time and let us know so we can make sure people with the right skills are available for you.
So how long have you had this type of service for the community?
It's been open around 10 years. It's been in a couple of different places around Mountain View, but this facility, we've been there about 5 years.
So you also have a community, a sense of community there too. You have all the people come together who are looking for either part-time jobs or full-time jobs, their skills, and the camaraderie.
Right. So the way it works is the workers show up in the morning and they rotate through a list so that it's fair for everybody who gets an opportunity to work. But during that time, we're able to provide sort of community, help. The guys are hanging around to the women. They're talking to each other, sharing their stories, sharing their skills with painting or the arts. And what's really neat now, we've had our kitchen closed for about a year and a half, and we just had a grand opening last week, and now we can serve breakfast and lunch once again to the workers who come in.
What are some of the skills that the people possess so that you could tout as being available?
Okay, so first of all, the obvious ones like gardening, trimming around the house, pruning, moving boxes, things like that. What's amazing, some of the women have remarkable skills. They can do upholstery work, and people have dropped off furnishings and seeing them do that kind of job.
Are they employed by your company then, and you subcontract out to the payer, or does the person who wants to use them pay them directly?
No, we're a nonprofit organization, so we don't handle any of the money.
Okay.
What you do is you pay the workers directly for their time. For unskilled work, it's $12 an hour, $15 an hour for more skilled labor. And of course, please provide a tip and provide food and lunch when they need
So
it.
how many people do you have now? I mean, do they have, like you said, do they have to sign up to be part of the center?
So they sign up and they rotate through a list.
Right.
We actually provide over 1,000 full-time jobs for workers during a month, both men and women. And so that really makes a difference to their families and to often their families at home that are living in other countries.
That's great. What's the best way to contact you then? Webpage, I assume, is?
So we have a webpage that you can contact the Day Worker Center. Or, if you wake up on a Saturday morning or want to do some yard work and find out that you just have too much work to do, just stop in the center and there'll be people there in the morning that you can pick up, drive to your house, and they can start working.
That's great. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
So we're going to be throwing it in the streets and keep enjoying the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. Back to the streets now.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah. Okay. We're good?
Okay.
All right. So would you just like to introduce yourself? What's your name?
Yeah, my name's Jason Oliver. My company's Wire Roots. I make trees from wire, sometimes 80 feet, sometimes up to 8,000 feet. Some of my larger pieces have a whole lot of wire in them. And I just got started because I thought it'd be something fun to do. I never really planned on selling my work. And now I'm 2 years into it, and I'm surprised every show I do. There just seems to be a lot of interest, and it's great that I can make something and have fun making it, and people connect with it as well.
So you've been doing this for 2 years, and you said that you've done shows before. So what have those been like? Like, how many have you done?
Yeah, so I average about 1 show to 1.5 shows a month. And the last Mountain View Art and Wine Festival I sold out, which was great. And just every time I go to a show, people express their interest in my work in lots of ways. Some people just take photos. Some people ask me questions. Some people buy something. Some people interview me. Some people say they saw something and they come back and they buy. But for me, it's less about the financial transaction of what I sell and more about just expressing what I like to do and see if people connect with it. And fortunately, it seems to work out on all fronts.
Well, these are definitely just extremely beautiful, some of these. And definitely one of the most unique artworks that you can find around here. So what is the process as you go by making one of these?
Well, usually I have a tree in mind. And I cut a lot of wire, and then the wire has something in mind, and somewhere between the two we meet. Sometimes the perfect tree that I had in mind comes out exactly as I envisioned. More times than not, the wire takes me a different direction, but oftentimes those are the best trees.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and just thank you for everything. We good?
I'm I'm Tom McNeil with the community, and this is Carl. And what's your name?
My name is Ed Gilbert.
Ed
Yeah.
Gilbert?
Yeah.
And you've been, these are beautiful pictures.
Thank you.
What got you going on looking at pictures and coming to the festival?
It's a good question. And this picture right here is actually what got me going.
Ah.
So I took a business trip out to the Arizona area to do some training on CNC machines. And they had a thunderstorm, so we just decided to try to catch the thunderstorm at the Grand Canyon. And we got this picture. It cleared up, there was a rainbow, and it was just a great experience.
That's a beautiful picture. So you've been doing that, I mean, you've been taking pictures in various places ever since. And,
Yep.
And so have you been at the Art and Wine Festivals before, or is
Yeah,
this the first time?
so we started in a festival up in Morgan Hill, and then we went to the Fremont Festival, and this will be our third one. So
Oh, this is nice.
yeah. So we're still pretty young, but it's been very exciting, and all the people are really great. So a lot of good conversations.
So are you doing this full time, or is this more of a hobby?
This is more of a hobby, you know, and I really like taking photos to try to inspire people to get out there themselves, you know. I think it's really important to still get out and experience nature, and I hope that that's how I can help.
Yeah. Well, these are beautiful photos. They're really gorgeous, and I like the speed limit 50 out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever done 50 before out there, but it's still a nice picture.
It is. Well, thank you very much. This is quite beautiful.
Thank you.
We definitely like to come back and talk to you again.
Yeah,
sometime.
hopefully next year.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And we are back live right here at the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival, enjoying the wonderful day. We've got Jim and we've got Ellen Wheeler, who is the Education Chair for the League of Women Voters for Santa Clara. That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I believe Jim's got a few questions ready for you.
Well, you have a forum you're going to kick off, correct? What is the League of
correct.
Voters' main focus, if I could ask you that?
So the main focus of the League of Women Voters, we actually have two focuses. We do education around voting issues, and we also do action around issues that the League has studied. So what I was talking about, I'd like to talk about our kickoff forum for our education study next week, and I'll give you some background on that if I may.
Sure.
So a reason that the League is studying public higher education in California is because the League does not have any positions on higher education, and we can only advocate for things when we have studied an issue and we've gotten positions. So for example, if there was a bill in the California legislature about higher education, we could not take a position on that bill because we haven't studied this. So, to get back to your original question, we're having a kickoff forum next Saturday, September 19th, from 9:30 to 11:45 at Foothill College in the Hearthside Room, so that we can educate our members about higher education, and then it's the kickoff for our study on public higher education in California. Our local league will be holding its own consensus meeting. That's where we discuss issues and then vote by consensus on issues. So we'll have our own consensus meeting in October, but we want people to come to the kickoff meeting on the 19th so they know more about higher education coming into our meeting.
So, let me ask you then,
Yes.
It sounds like, and just want to verify, you have this meeting, you bring your members together, you debate the various pros and cons of the issue, and then you form a consensus by either vote or some method to say this is now our policy regarding higher education. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
All right,
You did
well,
a
I'm
good
glad
job.
we got that. Now,
Yeah.
what's the range of the issue? Is that higher education is too expensive, or it's not broad enough, it's not accessible enough? What are, in your mind, the main issues you're going to try to formulate a policy for?
Well, I appreciate that question, and you touched on two of the main issues that we're going to be talking about. So we're focusing on affordability and accessibility, and of course, each of those issues encompass a lot more issues. So One of the speakers at our forum on Saturday is Chris Funk, the superintendent from Eastside Union High School District, who's going to talk about transitioning from high school to college. And then we have people from a trustee from community college, Laura Cassis, talking about starting in community college and then transitioning to a four-year college. We have people from San Jose State, and our kickoff is from UC Berkeley, talking about students coming to our four-year colleges. I'd like to mention our study was mentioned in the Mercury News a few days ago in the local section, page B3. We're asking people if you would like to come to our kickoff. You do not have to be a member, but we would like you to RSVP. And the way you could RSVP is to the League of Women Voters of Los Altos Mountain View. So how do you do that? You can Google us, League of Women Voters Los Altos Mountain View, or you could go directly to lwvlamv.org and then look on our calendar and you'll see more of a description than I can talk about today.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. I know that you have a lot of members, right?
Yes, we do.
How many?
So the League, you were asking me earlier, the League is an organization that's many layered. So we have 5 leagues in Santa Clara County. Our league has about 200, and then we have State League and National League.
Wow, thank you so much. So we're going to bring it back to the street and keep enjoying the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't you just start off by telling us your name?
Mark Schneider, and I'm Placerville, California. And photographer, obviously.
So there's a lot of awe-inspiring photographs here. What do you look for when you're taking a photo?
You know, I look for like composition. You know, I think my biggest thing is and light too. Obviously, you know, most photographers will tell you early morning and sunset shots are going to be your best shots, and I think composition is the biggest thing. You know, once you can get a composition right, everything else really falls into place on that.
How long have you been doing this kind of work?
You know, I've been doing it probably about 6-7 years now. My wife and I went on a cruise ship back to Alaska several years ago, and I figured I better get a camera to kind of photograph this, and it really kind of took off from there. So I really enjoyed the traveling and making pictures that people really enjoy. And hey, I was there. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, we were there. You know, so that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
So have you been doing a lot of these festivals in the past few years?
Yeah, we've done a lot in the Bay Area. Like I said, we live up in Placerville, so we do a lot of. And I used to live down here in San Jose years ago. I grew up in Campbell, and we started doing the shows Los Gatos, Mountain View. We've done El Dorado Hills. We don't do a lot, maybe 6-7 shows a year. I mean, we both, my wife and I, still work full time in other professions, so we try to squeeze this in, when we can, on the weekend. So it's a full schedule. Yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot of people who stop here just looking at some of the pieces that you have here. Is there any one in particular that you think is probably your favorite?
Wow, I tell you what. Some of my favorites are maybe not necessarily other people's favorites, in a photography standpoint, or sales or wise. The Colors of Venice seems to be a real popular one. Cinque Terre is obviously another popular one. Boy, it's really hard. It's really hard to tell you I have a particular favorite. It really is. And then when I go out and shoot, then the next one's my best favorite. So it's an ongoing process about which one's my favorite. So.
Well, thank you very much,
Yeah.
and I hope to see you again here next year, probably.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been here 2 or 3 years now, and we plan to come back year after year. So we do really well here.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Welcome back to the Mountain View Art and Wine Festival. I am Vilma. We've got Jim right here, and we're getting ready to wrap up, actually.
Getting ready.
Yeah. So what do you think so far of the event? It's been amazing. We have great guests.
Well, there are a lot of these art and wine festivals throughout the Bay Area, but to me, this is probably the best one. And the reasons I think is that it's pretty accessible. You can drive here, you can park, but it's big. lots of activities, lots of diversity in the type of vendors here, the bands, the food, and having the television show come here, KMVT, put a show on live as well as on YouTube is a great way to really show what's going on here. I haven't seen live viewing or live television program any other festivals I've been to, so I think it's a very special festival for that reason.
Yeah, so also people can volunteer and join KMVT actually, like what we're doing now. They can be a part of that. They can be a part of the crew and come here and just really enjoy the activity and be a part of that community.
It's pretty rare to be able to have access to community television on a volunteer basis, no matter what your background is. Come on down. There's training programs, KMVT.org in Mountain View here. Great crew, great people, and really a great sense of community within our organization.
Yeah, I was going to ask you something. Are you going to try that kiddie ride over there? I mean, I'm sure we can. I believe it's kind of like a zip line or something.
Yeah,
looks fun.
That ride you mean? Yeah, I guess so. I'm going to go look for some of the collectibles, some hand-blown glass, things like that, and maybe have a little lunch here, I think, too.
That is so
But it's
true.
a great atmosphere, great environment, and I want to thank the crew also. Vilma Gardner
That's
here,
right.
as well as Docs and Ed Pico and Jim, too, here, our floor manager and director. So it's been a great day.
Thank you to Shelley. All right, so we are going to say goodbye and thank you so much. Do join us again. Like we said, we can volunteer for KMVT. We love it here, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. So you guys, I guess it's SDI from the camera and then.
All right. We'll make do.
When Clipper captain sailed their old wooden ship,